Hello again, and for today we are going to finally be talking about video games and Star Wars through the EA Star Wars Conundrum. Now, in my initial video, I did not get to talk about my love of Star Wars games like Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Academy, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, Star Wars The Force Unleashed, one of my favorite obscure ones, Star Wars Obi-Wan for the original Xbox, and Star Wars Jedi Power Battles. And of course, there are other titles like Rogue Squadron that I really like, but not love as much as those other ones. Uh, there's also Shadows of the Empire that I still need to play. And with LucasArts and Star Wars, there was a perfect marriage, a in-house corporation of video game development that created all these wonderful titles. Oh, and another one that I completely forgot. One of the best lightsaber games on the market, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. The combat in that game is just so fucking bananas. Like, it's so good. And, the move sets are rewarding, the combos are delicious. And every time I do a run through of that game, I'm just like excited to fucking turn on a lightsaber and just plow through droids and clones and boss battles. Oh man, I could not gush on that game more. But with games like the original Battlefront, you had this great like war simulator, but you instead of like sending in waves and forces, you get to go be a grunt on the ground and just try and demolish your friends, and it was so satisfying as like a player versus player kind of game that of course they had to remake it later, but we're gonna get to that. I just want to go on a couple minutes about some games. And Knights of the Old Republic, one of the most rewarding Star Wars stories ever told. I went over this in my characters video that I did earlier, and just the lore, the interaction between characters, even the combat with its turn-based system was a lot better than say like a Final Fantasy for me. And just the story as it clicked was just so excellent for both games that there's a reason why there's so much not only hype but like fervor around the fandom of those games in particular. And then we go to Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy. Again, great story, fun combat, all the key hallmarks of great Star Wars gaming. And with Star Wars Obi-Wan, what I really like about that game is the weirdness of the right thumbstick lightsaber combat. There you can just direct swings and make up really fun patterns of attacking your foes. And yeah, the graphics are kind of bad, but like the gameplay just makes up for it in spades. And what are the other games that I mentioned? Rogue Squadron, of course, really fun fighter or a starfighter game. The Jedi Starfighter game also is really great with its rewarding force powers involved in the starfighter combat. Force Unleashed, again, great gameplay. And that was the key thing for Lucasfilm, is every game they made had great fucking gameplay. And this went through their entire run up until they unfortunately were made to close their doors in around 2013. Yeah, 2013. Because Disney did not want to invest anything in video games. If you know anything about Disney, they're really bad at putting any money into video games. They used to have Walt Disney Interactive. That closed with the final game being Disney Infinity 3.0. And that was kind of a fun version of Skylanders for the Disney products. But again, Disney did not put enough money into it, and they could have done a lot more with it. And oh fuck, didn't even talk about the greatness that is Lego Star Wars, the one of the best kids games of all time, the Lego franchise. And just have fun, the puzzle and the combat stuff is. And the reason why that I want to make sure I get all the video games like done in this one video is because I don't really do a lot of gaming. Like I don't have a lot of, or I don't even have any of the new consoles yet. I'm still on the 360 for the most part. So when I talk about the EA games, it's going to be slightly from an outsider's perspective. And so back to Disney closing LucasArts, it was a real blow for the video game community. You know, LucasArts is, again, one of the better publishing companies out there in the fact that they could publish and develop, and they had a lot of great infrastructure through Lucasfilm. And so what did Disney do after they closed LucasArts? They gave the Star Wars license out to fucking EA Games, Electronic Arts. And if you are a video game fan, you probably know of all of EA Games' very shitty practices, and their, you know, releasing the same game every year tactics and the fucking microtransactions. And again, it's all so fucking tiresome with EA, but that is the nature of their company. They used to be great, and now they are a complete bag of fucking dog turds. So EA releases this kind of really cool looking trailer to get everyone hyped about Star Wars under their banner, and they're like, oh, we're working with Lucasfilm very closely on developing games and stuff. And so far, what we've got is a fuck ton of mobile games like Galaxy of Heroes, which is, like any mobile game, a giant ass money suck that isn't worth its amount in spit. You know, they've also got Star Wars Commander. There was this kind of cool looking RPG one that I nearly sunk a lot of money into. But again, you know, it's mobile games. It's like, who gives a fuck? You know, you can rush them out easy because, they're really cheap to make. And then they make all the money back through freemium shit. But the first big title was the relaunch or reboot of Star Wars Battlefront, built on I believe EA's Battlefield mechanics and engine. Battlefront is essentially, Star Wars Battlefield, and it's not as fun for me looking at it as say Star Wars Battlefront 2 was, but you know, at least it was an effort to get something out really fast, and the game worked, but no story mode. So in the sequel that they released in, I believe, 2017, they tried to put in a story mode that was just kind of okay and whatever, and didn't really do much. And cool, it has Luke Skywalker, but like, again, why am I following around this fucking brown woman named Shiva Kamini Somakanakra? You'll get that if you've ever watched The League. But again, it was just the same game with some Clone Wars shit, with a kind of okay story mode, and microtransactions out the ass, to the point where Congress had to step in on the fucking microtransactions issue. And this laziness that EA is, you know, kind of known for now has really bubbled up to the surface. And, you know, what made it worse, before I get into Jedi Fallen Order, what made it so fucking worse was that there were a lot of titles for some LucasArts games that were in development, like Jedi Knight 3, like Knights of the Old Republic 3, like The Force Unleashed 3, that made, and you know, just a bunch of others that everyone was just like, oh my god, please give me. And then there was also the trailer for that Darth Maul game that they were developing that, again, went nowhere. And, you know, what I think makes it really worse is that it's not like EA could take those games and then start developing them. But it's just the fact that fucking what they've come up with is just reskins. Like, Jedi Fallen Order to me is just like a nerfed version of fucking Star Wars The Force Unleashed. And it's cool and all to have a Jedi game out, but again, it's like, can you do something slightly different? Like, do we need to do another Jedi Purge story that isn't really all that good? Because there's a lot of, oh, this Jedi slipped through the cracks kind of stories to be told that can be really interesting, that can open up the world of Star Wars. But again, Jedi Fallen Order to me seems like it's part of the greater Disney ethos to just reuse and recycle as much Star Wars imagery as possible and not create anything really new and unique. And, that's going to be EA's problem in the future of making new shit. Is, who's at the leadership of Lucasfilm telling them what they can and can't do? And, again, Disney, you should have fucking not closed LucasArts. That was an easy win for you guys to keep that running and to keep that operational. But no, you had to fucking outsource because I don't know anything about video games, so just fucking cancel it. It's just so angering, so fucking annoying. So in conclusion, the current EA Star Wars conundrum is that there's nothing really great on the market. It's just kind of either good or okay, and furthers the mediocrity that is the Disney Star Wars franchise. And, it spells doom and gloom for the future of the Star Wars brand if we can't get anything really amazing. And the only real solution for it is, again, better management at Disney and Lucasfilm. And so, in conclusion, to Disney, to Lucasfilm, who did not learn their lessons yet again, because when will they ever? I hope it's after the weekend of December 20th. For just destroying a great company like LucasArts, you better tread lightly when it comes to making more games, because, man, you really fucking screwed the pooch